Okay, so last video for the last lesson here. I'll try and keep it a little bit on the shorter side. I know the first one was kind of long, but basically this is the new stuff. So if it gets a little long, I do apologize. But I think you'll catch on to this pretty quick. Hopefully you've heard of it. Scientific notation. It says positive exponents. We will talk about negative exponents as well, but for the first one, I figure we might as well split it up here. Positive exponents, scientific notation. Now, obviously it says positive exponents. That means we are going to be dealing with exponents. And as you can see, when you look at the first prompts, there are no exponents. And in the second one, there are. Basically, it's going to just flip-flop. Scientific notation is basically just another way for us to write numbers a little bit shorter. And it's basically numbers that are multiples of 10. And what that means is there's a 0 at the end, 0 at the end, 0 at the end, 0 at the end. Sometimes lots of zeros, but as long as there's a 0 at the end, we can write it in scientific notation. It's just a way to write our numbers shorter. So you're going to type your answers directly in. Your work is below, but I will go through these examples. You're just going to follow the examples just as you do your own work. Now, scientific notation. It says write each number in scientific notation. Scientific notation is going to have an exponent, and it's going to have a 10, because if you look, when I said that they're all multiples of, I don't know if I said 100, but they're all multiples of 10. They all have that 0 at the end. That means they're a multiple of 10. So we can rewrite these numbers in a shorter way. Now, some of these you don't need it, but like, look at this. There's a lot of zeros here. We want to write these numbers in a more manageable way. And this is how you're going to do it. Take a look at 75,000. All right. We want to write this in a simpler way, and we want to write it with a decimal. And this is what you're going to do. Every one of these numbers has a decimal at the end. Boop. At the end. We want to move that decimal to where it's bumping up against the very first number in our number, the very first digit in our number. So for example, we're going to take this and we're going to move it 1, 2, 3, 4 spots to where now we have 7.5. Now, how many times did we move the decimal? We moved it 1, 2, 3, 4. So we're going to put a 4 there. This is just a way to rewrite the number in a decimal format, shorter way, and show it as a multiple of 10. So 10 to the, so if you took 7.5 times 10 to the 4th, you will get 75,000. Let's do it for 400. You're going to take your decimal, you're going to move it 1, 2 spots. So 4, you don't have to put 0.0. If you want to put 0.0, you can. But 4 times 10, and we moved it 2 spots. And that's really all you have to do. Move the decimal 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Now, there are more digits here. So we're going to write 8 point, and you're going to include all of them. 8.753 times 10. And how many times did we move it? We moved it 1, 2, 4, 5. 10 to the 5th power. That is a terrible 5. So before I do the last one here, let me show you what I'm expecting. I'm expecting you to type this out. You are going to have to insert an equation. Not super hard. I'll show you how to do it here in a second. So this is what you're going to do. You're going to, because I don't want you to write it or have to take a picture or anything, you're just going to type in. You're going to hit insert. You're going to hit equation. And it was what? 7.5. No, times. I'm going to do shift 8 to do times, 10, and to do an exponent, you're going to do shift 6. It's going to bump it up to the exponent, and we moved it 1, 2, 3, 4 times. All right, hit, oops, come on, there we go. Insert equation, we said it was 4 times 10 to the second. And then here it was 8.753 times 10 to the, I think it was 5. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Yep. Oops. To the 5. All right, last one. Let me go ahead and insert the equation. All right, so we know the decimal place is going to be after the 8. So 8.46 times 10. Let's put it to the exponent. How many times did we move that? Moved it 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. So for the exponent, we're going to do, oops, let me click 10. Come on. All right. And you don't have to draw those little like lumps like I'm drawing. You see there's 3, and then another 3, 6, another 3, 9, and then we moved it 1 over to where it was after the 8. It's always going to be like that. You're always going to get the decimal next to the very first digit in your number. So just a way to write numbers in a shorter way using exponents, especially with long numbers. It can be helpful when we go to do other things. All right. And then we're going to do the opposite, and we're just going to move the decimal place the other way. So when you put a regular number into scientific notation, you move the decimal to the left. Now we're going to move it to the right. And so what I mean is we're going to rewrite this number, and you don't have to insert an equation. You're going to move it 5 decimal places. So one way you could do it is you could just do 4, and then you move it 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. As in, you write your 4. How I did that was I wrote my 4, and then to move the decimal place 1 to the right, you move it 6, and then just after that, it's nothing but zeros. So 1, 2, 3, 4. Another way to do it, just so you see, is you can write 4.6, and then let's move that decimal place 5 times. So 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. And everywhere you see a lump that's not filled in, you add a 0. And then that decimal place is at the end, so you have 4, 6, 0, 0. And put your comma where it would be every 3 numbers starting from the right. And so we're going to type that in as, I think it's 460,000 if I'm not mistaken. 460, oops, come on, 460 in there. Right. For the next one, if you want to write it, it's 5.067. You're going to move the decimal place 1, 2, 3. So it just moves to the end. So you have 5,067. I'll put my comma in there. The next one, last 2, 7 times 10 to the second. Now, there are no decimal places there, but it's at the end. It's right there. So you'll just move it 1, 2. So your number is 7. Oops, come on. There we go. Is 700. All right, last one. 45 times 10 to the 7th, so 45. Decimal place at the end, you're going to move it 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. So you're going to add a bunch of zeros. In fact, I think it's 7 zeros. Yep, 7 zeros. And if you don't want to do it by writing it out, you just go 45, and then you go 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. I'm going to add my commas every 3 to get that. All right. Other than that, guys, be safe. Have a good rest of your day. Hopefully you guys got a chance to watch these. I appreciate it. Keep up the good work.